The morning I signed those papers, my hands were completely still. That is the part people always find hardest to believe. My daughter was sitting beside me, holding my arms so tightly that I could feel her nails pressing through my sweater. My attorney kept clearing his throat, almost like he was trying to send me a warning without saying the words out loud. But I wasn't shaking. I already knew something they didn't. I knew that the papers I was signing were not the end of my story. They were the beginning of the moment when everything would finally come to light. To understand how I got there, you have to go back 41 years. I met my husband the summer after I graduated from nursing school. I was 26 years old, working overnight shifts at a hospital in Central Ohio. He came in one night with a broken wrist after a softball accident. He had a calm, easy charm, the kind of person who could make a room feel lighter without even trying. He made me laugh before the nurses had even finished his paperwork. We started dating. And 14 months later, we were married in a small church outside Columbus. Back then, I truly believed I had found my person. For many years, I wasn't wrong. We built a life together. He owned a small landscaping company he had started before we met. I continued working part-time at a clinic after our daughter was born. Then our son came a few years later. As the business grew, I stepped away from nursing and began managing the company finances. It was my decision. I was good with numbers, organized, and careful. It made sense for our family. We discussed it together, like we discussed everything else. That is what hurts the most. I believed we were partners. By the time I was 64, the company had grown into something respectable. We had 12 full-time employees, 3 trucks, and contracts worth more than $2 million a year. We weren't millionaires living some extravagant life, but we were comfortable. We owned our 4-bedroom home. We had retirement accounts. We had built the kind of life people spend decades trying to create. From the outside, everything looked perfect, but underneath, something was wrong, and I didn't discover it. Through some dramatic movie moment, there was no suspicious phone call. No stranger showing up at the door. No obvious betrayal. It started with a water bill. One Tuesday afternoon, I was looking through our files because we had a question about a charge. I had always kept our records organized. Every account, every statement, every document had its place. That was when I found something I had never seen before: a business checking account. The address was ours, but the account was only in my husband's name. I stared at it for a long time. Then I put it back. I made dinner. I didn't say anything that night. After everyone went to bed, I sat alone in our home office and started looking through files I had reviewed hundreds of times before. But this time, I wasn't organizing. I was searching. And slowly, small details began appearing. Transfers that didn't match what I remembered. Deposits that were slightly lower than the invoices. Showed payroll numbers that didn't match tax records. Nothing obvious. Nothing dramatic. Just small pieces of a puzzle that only made sense when I stepped back and looked at the entire picture. I was a nurse for many years. I knew what hidden problems looked like. Serious issues rarely announce themselves. They grow quietly. They spread beneath the surface. I didn't confront my husband immediately. People always ask why. The truth is simple. I was afraid, not of him. He had never been violent. Not once in 41 years. I was afraid of being wrong. I was afraid that if I was right, my entire life would change. I was 64 years old, and I had spent my entire adult life building something with this man